Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Big things continue to happen for the bank coin companies. You got to know all the different connections. And if you do, then you know this is really an exciting time for sure. Now, this article is titled Saudi small businesses rethink payments for a faster future. We've seen so much activity happening in the MENA region. We saw activity happening with Ripple in the MENA region recently. We saw other activities happening where they're moving towards integrating blockchain technologies even further, DLT technologies even further. We know Ripple has huge connections in the MENA region. Ripple has connections in Saudi Arabia. Remember? Listen, I don't know what has become of those things. We have to get updates, of course. But just the fact that they once had those connections, or they may still have them. I'm not sure if they're still employing the technology, but what they wanted at the time, and we'll read it in a little bit, they wanted Ripple, right, to, and this was the central bank of Saudi Arabia, so it's serious business. So some years ago, they wanted Ripple's technologies to be deployed to a bunch of other businesses in Saudi Arabia. Now, let me ask you something. When you hear the name Saudi Arabia, what do you think about, besides vacations and stuff like that? Besides that, what do you think? You think about money, because let's just keep it real. A lot of people, a lot of individuals and entities in the MENA region have big money, big value. They don't play around and they know how to do business. Now, if you're talking about XRP price skyrocketing, if you're talking about XRP being utilized, then this has to be taken serious. For sure, this has to be taken serious. Once again, let me bring it back around. Why now? The only way that you make a system take off and that price goes skyrocket, as we also read an article recently where they were talking about how much XRP Ripple holds, that benefit to Ripple and other people that are holders of XRP. So they have the interest in XRP's price skyrocketing. We already know that. But I just wanted to make sure I put that on the table here to keep it at the forefront of your mind. Now, how many businesses, that's the question. How many businesses in Saudi Arabia do you believe could utilize XRP? Sorry about that. A little notification popped up and distracted me for a moment there. Let's read this little tidbit here, okay? Saudi Arabia is emerging as a focal point in cross-border payments. Wait a minute. Once again, they have a connection with Ripple. They're familiar with Ripple technologies. They're familiar with XRP. Anyone can look this up. And now they're focusing on cross-border payments. Can you see where this might go? It continues. Thanks to the rise of digital wallets, we've been talking about digital wallets. Those are important. It's not a small thing. Now, each of the companies, there's going to be a war that's going to break out where each of the companies, and of course, interoperability could play a part and ease the war. There's still going to be a war. Whoever puts their digital wallets in the hands of the most people is going to win, because their native token is going to be promoted in that wallet, period. Their native token and their stable coin, they're going to have both. But people want to make money. People want to increase their value. They want staking capabilities. They want delegation capability. They want to be able to lend. You can do that the best with the native tokens, with an XRP, with a Solana, with a chain link. They're going to do it. So yes, the digital wallets, watch the digital wallets. It's going to tell you a lot, in my humble opinion. It's one aspect, of course, but it's still something to watch nonetheless. It continues. The payments intelligence report, quote, global money movement, which, by the way, if you're enjoying this video at this point, please click that like button. Now let's keep it moving. Saudi Arabia edition, a collaboration with TerraPay revealed 54% of Saudi consumers who made cross-border payments in the past year used digital wallets. That's eye-opening. I'm telling you right now. And it means they're used to it. They like the technology. So what happens when you bring in the best of the best, if that is to happen, and they actually do, now that, DLT technologies, the bank coins are being unleashed globally. That's what I wanted to say before, and I sort of forgot. Sometimes I have so many thoughts, I might forget one or two and go wayward. That happens. But now it's been unleashed. The system works best when you have a bunch of different banks using the system, a bunch of different companies using the system all at once. It doesn't function well when you have one or two or three. No, it functions better if you have like 1,000 or more, which I think rapidly, if they don't have it already, and I think that behind the scenes they do. It's my humble opinion. You could disagree with that. I think behind the scenes they do have probably 1,000 more or so banks signed up. Doesn't mean they're using the system right now. They're signed up. Everything is getting set up. It functions better at that time. So it makes sense that they would now be like, say to themselves in Saudi Arabia, we want to do this now. That the system can, they can flip the switch on the system. It says this youth driven. Okay. The figure placed the country behind only the United States, where they're putting a percentage at 63%. And ahead of more, wait a minute, 63%. It says, and ahead of more mature financial markets like the United Kingdom and Singapore. The report also highlighted a generational divide, as 63% of Generation Z consumers. That's what I thought. I was saying to myself, 63%. That can't be overall. There's no way. But they clarified here. They're saying 63% of Generation Z. That makes more sense. Really? Gen Z. What age is that? I know. You're like, I don't know, Mick. I don't know either, but it's younger than us. That's all I know. Okay. It says, so anyway, 63% of Generation Z consumers in Saudi Arabia use digital wallets for cross-border payments, compared to 28% of baby boomers and seniors. We'll see how that changes over the next few years. Listen, one thing I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, everybody needs value. Everybody wants value, especially in this current global economy. Globally, everything's been tough. Don't let them fool you now. Look at the real numbers, and then talk to the people on the ground. But one thing I'm going to tell you about seniors, baby boomers, older people, they know how to make money. When they see that everything's legitimized, they're coming. When they see that it doesn't take any respect from their name or reputation to deal with cryptocurrencies or DLT technologies, faster is better. It can build their wealth faster than anything before, better than anything before. They're coming. They're coming. Make no mistake about it. Don't let the people fool you. I know these people. So right now it's at 28%. We'll see if it changes. We'll see. All right. It says this youth-driven adoption aligned with broader trends in digital transformation across the country. Under Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia has prioritized digital innovation and financial inclusion. Government-backed initiatives such as the rollout of faster payment systems. Let's go here. I want to see. I know I had it somewhere. About Ripple. I looked it up. Ripple and Saudi Arabia's relationship. I just want to bring it back for a moment so we can remember what was going on. And then if people want to look into if this is current or not, maybe they want to reach out to that central bank. Some central banks are okay. They're cool. They'll actually answer your questions. So not a lot of them, though. I've had a lot of phone calls not answered over the years. You want to be real? I'm just keeping it real with you. Yes, I have called a lot of places, especially early in the channel. I called a lot of places. So just in case people want to look into that, they'll know what happened. So this is from ForbesMiddleEast.com. Well, let me put my hands up so I know where to put the chapter, just in case. I don't even know if people use the chapters. So I just put them in there just in case they want to. I don't know. But this is how I know where to put the article. Saudi Arabia's central bank signs deal with Ripple. This is from 2018. So this is a long time ago. So if they continue, they've had a lot of time to build behind the scenes, a lot of time to shake hands, a lot of time to establish systems that can be turned on, so to speak, with the flip of a switch. Yeah, I like that. I know some people don't like that, but I like that. The flip of a switch is a good visualization of the activity. It says but just in case they want to, is there. The Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, SAMA, has signed an agreement with the US-based blockchain company Ripple to help participating banks, multiple. And why wouldn't they work with XRP, the XRPL, and Ripple right now when it's better than ever, bigger than ever, more powerful than ever, more efficient than ever, faster than ever? Because they said that they're going to be deploying the advanced mechanisms. Why would they not work with them now? I feel good today. I feel like we got a good energy going today. I hope you click that like button. It's rare because sometimes my life gets hard sometimes, just like maybe yours does. I have stuff going on just like you do. And so sometimes I feel like a failure if I don't make a video. I feel like a failure. It's not just videos. I got a bunch of things throughout the day that are challenging because I have other stuff going on, but I want to accomplish them anyway, because if I don't do those things, I feel terrible. Literally, I won't sleep well. So some days can be a little harder than others, and I might not be so energetic. I might not be at my absolute best, although I'm trying my best. Today, I don't feel like that. Today, I feel good energy today. I feel alive. I hope you do as well. Participating banks in the kingdom use its enterprise software to instantly facilitate cross-border payments. The pilot program is the first of its kind to be launched by a central bank. This is at that time. Remember, this is way back when. But I just want to establish there is a relationship with Ripple in Saudi Arabia that is major. And if they respected Ripple that much then I assume that they do it much more now. Ripple's better than ever, bigger, more powerful than ever. They have Hidden Road. They have a custody business that they acquired. There's so much going on. And the world is leaning positive for crypto, for DLT. The world is leaning bullish for crypto, for DLT. It continues on here. It says the central bank's partnership with Ripple will potentially transform how banks in the kingdom send money globally, while allowing bank customers to access faster, cheaper, and more transparent cross-border transactions. As part of the deal, SAMA will also provide interested banks in Saudi with program management training. SAMA is the second central bank globally, this is at that time, to introduce Ripple's blockchain-based cross-border payments, following the Bank of England's pilot project in 2017. And we know that they've been working with the Bank of England all the way up to this time. Although I will say, and look into this if you're not familiar, the Bank of England is very tight with Quant. They work more so with Quant, but they've never stopped working with Ripple, collaborating with Ripple as well. But Quant, Q&T, is the dominant DLT company when it comes to the Bank of England, as of now, from what I know. All right. And yes, I expect Quant to just do amazing in the future. We'll see. That's just my humble opinion, not financial advice. This is what I think. I don't know what you think. All right. But I wanted to establish that because I can't talk about the Bank of England without thinking XRP and Ripple, but also thinking about Quant and Q&T. That has to be there. A lot of these Bitcoin companies are fantastic companies as of now. If that changes in the future, if they start becoming lackluster, then we'll have to speak differently about them. But right now, I think they're all doing pretty good. They're doing well. As far as their positioning, we'll see if they actuate upon that and what happens. But even with a Bitcoin-led bull run, I think the bulk of whatever we're expecting to see is yet to come. I really feel that way. Their prices will skyrocket just because of that. But I expect much more when there's a utility-based run, and that utility hasn't taken over the world yet. And yes, utility will be major. But let's okay. So now that we established that, let's go here. Let's see. Bear with me one moment. So we have more XRP related news. This article is titled US SEC delays. I almost said deals with. Delays decision on XRP and Dogecoin ETFs. Calls for public comments. What is the delay for? Everybody wants an XRP ETF. And even if they don't desire it, they're not against it. So I think the public is going to say, the public comments should theoretically say, let there be an XRP ETF. Dogecoin, same thing. What's the problem with Dogecoin? Right? Does it get more decentralized than that? Is there someone who, I don't know. I don't have any Dogecoin. I'm not a Dogecoin expert, but it seems like it's like Bitcoin. They just threw a bunch of coins out there and people have been making a pretty good amount of money off of Dogecoin over the years. So I don't see the problem with that. It's not like there's some controlling force over Dogecoin that I've seen. But let's read this little tidbit here. It says US SEC has delayed its decision on 3 spot-based ETF applications seeking to track XRP and Dogecoin. The proposed funds affected include the filings of Grayscale 21 shares and the Grayscale Dogecoin Trust. According to recent filings on the website, the SEC has initiated proceedings on these ETFs and has requested public comments from interested parties. Similarly, the SEC has postponed its decision on an amendment that would allow the Bitwise Ethereum ETF to permit staking. This amendment aims to broaden investors' exposure to the Bitwise Ethereum ETF by incorporating staking yields. Okay. The SEC calls for public comments. This request aims to help the securities regulator gather public input on the policy and legal concerns related to ETF filings. In the meantime, let me scroll down. In the meantime, the commission clarified that it has not reached any conclusions regarding the legal and policy concerns. However, it signaled that the proposals only raise substantive questions that deserve broader input from the public. Notably, the comment period will run for 21 days from the publication of the recent filings in the Federal Register. The period for rebuttal comments is expected to linger for 35 days. What? The period for rebuttal comments? Oh, it's expected to linger for 35 days after publication in the Federal Register. Am I the only one who feels like things take too long when it comes to anything federal? Anything government related? Why do they drag their feet? How is there not better efficiency? Oh, we have all this technology. Everything is so advanced now in the world. This is what people claim all the time. I'm hearing this all the time. And yet you don't really actually see it utilized in the world. I don't know. It's just something that I guess, am I alone in feeling that? Everything should move faster, should be more efficient when it comes to anything governmental. That's how I feel. It says, it is worth noting that the SEC's latest action does not come as a surprise to crypto enthusiasts. Over the past few months, the securities regulator has postponed its decision on multiple crypto ETF proposals, including those seeking to track XRP and Dogecoin. I'm just ready for all of this stuff to occur and happen and check it. I just want to check it off the list and just get it out of the way. I don't see these as any big deal whatsoever. These type of things to be held back. I mean, right? They should not be held back. And I think that a lot of these entities and I think people should take a little bit of offense to this type of stuff. Not to be emotional. No. I just mean mentally should see that and say, something's wrong with that. You're wasting our lives. You're wasting our lifetime. And we don't have forever. We don't. I think like that. Memento mori. I think like that. I don't have today to waste or tomorrow to waste. I give my best today. I want to live now because I don't know what's coming tomorrow. You don't know what's coming tomorrow. So don't waste my time. And you know what? Yeah, if I feel like you're wasting my time, I'm not going to feel good about that. And I'm going to take action on that. So I don't like these type of activities. Oh, delay here, delay there. Let the people play. Same way I felt about crypto when they were holding it back. Let the people play. Let the people earn their money. Let the people take that money and use it for their children. Let the people go on a vacation. Let the people buy a better house. Lower the taxes on some of this stuff. Lower the taxes on some of the property taxes. They bought the house. How long? So property taxes, sewer bills. Things should be much easier for humanity, folks. I'm just saying, you don't have to agree with me. It should be much easier for humanity. Then I hear these things and people say this type of stuff where I hear this a lot. Well, they're doing this because, to fix the streets and stuff, and they tax the people. They do these other things. Like what? So first of all, the delays and stuff like that are not beneficial to the people. It literally does not lend to whatever they're going to deploy or whatever they're going to render being better or vetted more. There's no extra vetting going on. It's just literally they're just taking their time. Make sense? So if there's no extra vetting going on, let's get that done quicker and let's move on to something else. But there's a lot of, in my humble opinion, there's a lot of laziness in the world. There is. And I think you're seeing that manifest there. So then once going on to all the other stuff where they're just charging you for every single thing, just robbing everybody's pockets. My humble opinion, you don't have to agree. You can skip this part. You don't have to agree. My humble opinion. But they're just robbing everybody blind. And people are like, well, they use that money to do this and that and fix the street. Everything's dilapidated. Where's this happening? Listen, you can go through some very, very towns that are supposed to be wealthy. Look at the streets. Don't just stay on the main streets. No, go on the side streets. Come on now. The side streets are supposed to be maintained. Come on now. So anyway, and maybe it's not like that everywhere, but in a lot of places in the United States, yes, it is. The houses look nice. The lawns are great. Everything like that. Look at the road. Boom. Like, what's that? I just hit a pothole. What? Why? Why is there a pothole there? Didn't you say, taxes are supposed to fix the streets? What are you doing? Anyway, so now, moving on from there, I'm going to act like we didn't even have that discussion. Yeah. You imagined all of that. That was just we're moving on to some Bitcoin some Bitcoin news. Can I talk to you in a real way? This is what you say. In a real way. Can I talk to you like that from time to time? We just have a nice little conversation. All right, so now here we go. Some Bitcoin news. The blockchain group secures 8.6 million euro to boost Bitcoin strategy. Oh, they're not playing around. Why now? Because they know Bitcoin's going to take off. They know Bitcoin's going to make a ton of money. The big companies know this. They're certain on it. That's why do you notice all these articles lately where they're all happen to be getting in right now? They just happen to be putting big money in right now. You don't think that there is a cause for that? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. I know you do. I know you do. I'm asking people out there that may see it. I don't know who's going to watch the video. And then actually they're like, well, why would they do that? Money is about to be made. In my humble opinion, not financial advice. The blockchain group listed on Euronext Growth Paris and known as Europe's first Bitcoin treasury company has announced a capital increase of approximately 8.6 million euro as it pushes forward with its Bitcoin treasury company strategy. The funding was raised through two operations, a reserved capital increase and a private placement, with both priced at 1.279 it says euro per share. All right, they're going big. Let's scroll down a little bit. This price represents a 20.18% premium over the 20-day volume weighted average share price, but a 46.26% discount compared to the closing price on May 19th, 2025, reflecting recent high share price volatility. Quote, the company's board of directors decided on May 19th, 2025, using the delegated authority granted by the shareholders meeting held on February 21st, 2025, under the terms of its fifth resolution on an issuance without preemptive rights for shareholders of 3,368,258 new ordinary shares of the company at a price of 1.2790 euro per share, including an issuance premium. All right, so listen, Bitcoin continues to attract a lot of interest, and it looks like it's going to be doing well long into the future. They give many more numbers here. This is a pretty good breakdown if you want to read this article, okay, at some point. But let's go here. One more article. Let's see. I've been trying my best to keep up with these things. We heard about Arizona. Some good things happening in Arizona with Bitcoin. Sorry about that. Some good things happening in Arizona, and now we have this here happening in Texas. This article is titled "Texas House Passes Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill. If signed into law, the bill would allow the Texas comptroller to establish a Bitcoin reserve and invest in select cryptocurrencies based on market cap criteria." All right. So it says the Texas House of Representatives has passed the third reading of SB 21, a bill that seeks to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve in the state. So there you have it, folks. It says the bill passed in a 101 to 42 vote. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.